A very warm welcome to the page of wisdom. Our last discussion was devoted to the theme of knowing a fact. My last discussion, I emphasized that every information is not a fact, and there is a difference between belief and fact. What we observe through senses, or what we experience, yeah, what we observe empirically, you can say, that is fact. So fact is empirically verifiable fact. So there is and that is the part of the true knowledge. Today we will move further, and we will try to know is there any difference, what is the difference between fact and reality. Actually, it is true that what we observe, that is fact, but everything what we observe is not real. Actually, what I want to make, the point which I want to make is that everything which we perceive need not be true. Yeah, everything which we empirically observe need not be true. So every fact is not necessarily true. That is the point. So how to reach a true fact? Yeah, is there any difference between the fact which we observe and what is the reality? Actually, fact which we observe is empirical fact. Yeah, empirically found, what we found empirically, but what we found empirically need not always be true. Why? Because it may happen that, suppose our method of perception, there may be the error in our method of perception, number one. Second thing, that sometimes what we observe, it is our observation is subjective observation, it is not objective observation. So since our observation may be subjective, so what we observe actually is not the true fact. So there is also one more point which I want to make clear here, that actually the world we are living in, the human world we are living in that world, all the facts are not sheer physical facts. Most of the facts we encounter on day-to-day basis, they are the social realities actually. They are called you can call them institutional facts, as Professor McCormick has noted at one place in his book Institutions of Law. What he says, that there are two kind of facts: sheer physical facts and institutional facts. Institutional facts are facts, the meaning of which is based on the interpretation of those things. So many times what happens, when we observe something, we add our interpretation to it. So what happens, suppose some person is sitting here, suppose Siddhant is sitting here. So I say that Siddhant is sitting here, but what about a person who is not knowing he is Siddhant? Then he will say a human being sitting here. Yeah, a man is sitting here, but what about a person who does not know the difference between man and woman? Then he will say some human being is sitting there. But what about a person who does not know the daily difference between the human being and animal? Then he will say creature is sitting, you can say some creature is sitting here. Yeah, some object is sitting here. Suppose I do not know. So whenever we observe some object, we observe it on the basis of our past knowledge. We use our past knowledge, we use our experience, we already know something about that. So my views are colored with my past knowledge or my past experience. So there are many things you can say, that is why there may be the gap in the fact and the reality. And the purpose is not to know the fact, because fact, that is only the first step in order to reach the reality and in order to reach the truth. Actually, here I am talking about the reality again. I am in my last discussion I also said this thing, and today also I want to emphasize this thing, that we are talking about the reality about things. We are talking about the fact, about the object. We are not talking about the ultimate truth, or we are not talking about something absolute truth, because what is absolute truth no one knows. We can only know what we can perceive. So point which today I want to make is that whatever we perceive is fact, but all the facts which we perceive, they are not necessarily true. Now what happens, suppose when we observe something, we observe it with reasoning. Number third point which I want to make, that we observe it with reason, or we apply our reasoning with it. Actually there are two methods of knowing the things. So yeah, you can say there are two sources of knowledge. One is the observation and another is the reasoning. So when we observe it with reasoning. So as happens in the case of science, a scientist observes the things and then he uses inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning means he is trying to generalize the things, means he is moving from particular to general, from a minor premise to a major premise. And after that what happened, we try to generalize the things, and so that we want to make it more and more objective. But even suppose it is objective, but still it is not the, we cannot claim that it is true reality. Please note, our knowledge is not based on any intuition. Our knowledge is not based on any kind of authority. What we try to know through our own senses. So here nowhere we can claim that whatever I have come to know, it is true. So that is the only first step. First step is the fact. Second step is to know more and more about the fact, to make our knowledge more and more objective. But even objective knowledge cannot be totally true. I cannot claim that it is totally true. So next step will be to again test whatever we have found upon empirical observation. We are again testing it. Suppose after the induction, after using the inductive reasoning or inductive reasoning, we observe suppose some fact, then we are further scrutinize it on the basis of the deductive reasoning. So one day, next day, I will tell you about what is the difference, what is the meaning of the inductive reasoning and what is the meaning of the deductive reasoning. When we combine both reasoning, inductive and deductive, then only we can say that we have obtained the true reality. Thank you very much for this patient hearing. And if you have found this discussion useful, so please like it, so that I may feel motivated